5.1 Use properties of exponents. This might be one of the easiest things we've done all year.
This should be the majority of the quiz. The exam, it's probably gonna be one number, or number one, and everything else is gonna be the hard stuff.
If you get a bunch of questions like this, that means you have a lot more questions on the exam.
Which is good because that means when I screw up.
Like last year, I had like 50 questions on their exam. So
You should only
That's scary.
Can you
If
make
I miss
most of
10, I have a
the
B.
exam just like factoring and spoiling? Because we know how to do that. Kind of.
some people don't know how to factor yet.
We've done it since algebra.
I can factor and not show my work. That's a flex.
I still
It's
go tap on it. I don't even know how you did that.
It's called math, Daniel.
I'm making 7 lines and making a table, or 7 spots to write in.
Which is only 6 lines.
That means my line doesn't be straight.
Yeah. I just have lines in my notebook, so I'm not gonna go. Oh, Daniel, that's so smart.
No, it's not. Look, how are you gonna see which lines are the real lines?
They're a different color.
No, they're all blue.
Exactly. He's writing in pencil.
I just made my iPad look like notebook paper.
What? You want it to do one line down the middle.
Yeah, that's what we just said.
Nah, I don't like it. I'm doing one.
You're weird.
All right, the property name. I'm going to do the property name and then write it out mathematically, which is what it means by definition. So, product of powers.
Just for the thing.
And no, you do not have to memorize these names.
Thank you.
If we do, then we have extra credit.
No. A to the m times a to the n is equal to a to the m plus n.
We need to know that.
What? What are we trying to solve? That'd be a long chapter.
Yo, no, we know this.
This just says that if the things have the same base, we add their exponents.
If you have
Never
Like
mind.
2 cubed times 2 squared is 2 to the 5th.
or you could do if you
Oh. It a little confusing because there was letters.
No, it's
Times
All right, power of a power.
What?
A to the m all raised to the n is equal to a to the m times n. So if it's a power raised to a power, we multiply the exponents.
This is like the Power Rangers.
What'd you say?
Power of a product. And you should start to see why you don't have to memorize the names because they're all very similar.
Power.
A times B raised to the M, so basically the stuff in there is both raised to the M, is the same as A to the M times B to the M. Notice they have different bases, so we can't do anything to their exponents. A negative exponent so if we have a to the negative m, that would be the same as 1 over a to the m, assuming a is not equal to 0. Little catchphrase for this is put it where it ain't. Make it positive. So if you have a negative exponent on the bottom, we move it to the top by making the exponent positive. If it's on the top, we move it to the bottom by making the exponent positive.
My bad. I was trying to make it my catchphrase. It doesn't work like that.
This is actually Mr. Cass's catchphrase that he taught me.
Put it anyway.
Now, I will say, the farther we get along, I will more so say put it where it ain't and change the sign. Because sometimes we need to move something so that we can subtract the exponents and stuff like that,
Where it ain't making positive.
which you'll see in just a second.
Oh, I said put it anyway.
A 0 exponent. What happens when 0 is an exponent?
Yeah, 1.
It's equal to 1, assuming a is not equal to 0.
Put it
So a to the 0 is 1. Any number or anything raised to the 0 is always 1.
Wait, what is 0 to the 0?
0.
Indeterminate.
Oh.
Put it
It's
where
not
it-
0?
Makes you sad if that happens.
put it where
No.
it aims.
I think it should be 0.
Put it where it aims.
They should let me do math.
Hence why a can't be 0.
I don't like it when 0 messes up my math.
What?
I say we get rid of 0.
Why?
It just moves.
No, because 1 times 0 equals 0.
Alright, quotient of powers. If I have a to the m over a to the n, notice those things have the same base. What I have here is a to the m minus n. So this is where I said put it where it ain't, change the sign. Both of these had quote unquote positive signs, but to move it, I'm going to move it up and subtract. Sometimes you need to actually move it down because our final answer can never have negative exponents unless it's scientific notation, and I have to put that disclaimer in here because that's in this section. Again, assuming a is not equal to 0 because that would cause a problem in the denominator. So we had the quotient of powers, now we have the power of a quotient. Which is if we have a over b raised to the m, that's equal to a to the m over b to the m. B not equal to 0.
Man, I forgot to write the all A can 0.
Alright, so basically at this point we just have examples. Nothing too crazy. Shouldn't take us long.
How does the dead person release music?
Think about it.
Like who?
Oi.
Like there's a dead guy that just released a whole.
Alright, number 4.
No,
Or like an
Evaluate the expression, tell which properties of exponents you use. I do not care about that part. 4 to the negative 2 raised to the 3. So I have a power raised to a power. What do I do with the exponents when that happens?
Multiply them.
Multiply them. So this is going to give me 4 to the negative 6.
Which is not possible.
Can't have a negative exponent. So put it where it ain't, make it positive. 1 over 4 raised to the 6th. I am completely fine with you leaving your answer here. If you want to put it in your calculator and get an answer, that's fine. But listen, you have to show this work. If I think you just stuck this in your calculator and gave me an answer, I will mark it completely wrong. I've got to see work that went with this.
It makes sense.
Okay.
It's like moving it.
Because you could just type this in your calculator and get an answer. I've had people try it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And they hate getting 10 points off or whatever it is because they didn't show their work.
What do you do for the homework?
What?
He's trying to cheat. That's what he said.
Oh, my brother.
He said he's gonna do it for the homework.
If you can't do it on a quiz, what makes you think you're allowed to do it on homework? 6. 2 to the 4th raised to the 2. What would this be equal to?
Nah, you gotta remember.
2 to the 8th. You can leave that there, but you might possibly know what 2 to the 8th is equal to.
Nope.
64?
Nope.
Maybe? I
Hey,
tried
wait.
32.
I'm going to multiply it 2 more times.
2
Oh,
to
man.
the 8. This
What's
is
128
easy.
times 2?
It's 2 times 2 times 2 times 2
320.
times 2 times 2 times
256.
Oh, way off.
Told you.
Okay, either of these would be fine to leave it. Okay, now, if it's like 2 cubed, you best multiply that out.
But that's
What's
16.
No, 2 times 2.
No, hold on.
It's 8.
Oh shoot.
All right, 8.
Only took me 8
I tried to
seconds.
square
3/5 raised to the 4th. So this one is one when you have anything and it's being raised to a power, that power goes on both things that are in there. So this would be the same as 3 to the 4th over 5 to the 4th. What's 3 to the 4th? We should know that.
81.
81. What about 5 to the 4th?
225.
No.
Oh.
25 times 25.
25 times 25 is
What's
what?
225.
No, 225. No, I don't know.
Is 5
225.
575?
It's a big number.
225. Oh, because
625.
Yeah, 625.
Why'd you put 225s?
Because I was gonna multiply them.
Oh.
Stop making fun of me.
I'm not. I
I
was
don't even know
wondering.
what you're saying.
Yeah, because I did the same thing.
Again, I will take either of that. If you want to go to a decimal answer, that's fine, but I would be content with you just leaving it like this.
What if it's able to reduce?
About to lose my whole book. What?
If it's able to reduce, do you just have to reduce?
Then you should probably reduce it.
It's so hard.
It is.
All right, 10. 9 cubed times 9 to the negative 1.
No. Oh, I know this one.
I'm going to see what way y'all are going to do this one.
First, you gotta change, oh.
Try again.
It's, you multiply the nines first.
So you do the exponent first, right? Because of the
81 minus 3,
operations.
1 over
So
80
it's-
through 1.
So what happens when we have two numbers being multiplied that have the same base? What do we do with our
You
exponents?
multiply them, combine them.
Repeat.
We add the exponent.
What do we do? Yeah, so if we have the same base, what do we do with the exponents
Add them.
when they're being multiplied?
Add them.
We add them.
So it's
81
So-
to the first.
81 to the second.
This would be 9 cubed
Oh.
minus 1
Oh,
is plus negative 1,
9 squared.
which is 9 squared.
Do
Do
we
we
have
have to
81.
write that step?
Which one?
The 9 cubed minus 1. That step.
This is the step that tells me that you know what you're doing, so I would
Okay.
prefer that you write this. You can skip the 9 squared part, but,
I did write that.
Sounds good.
well, this is the step that tells me that you know what you're
I'll
doing,
put a little
so.
thingy in it and
Okay.
just write it.
So
There. What's it called? A carrot?
Car.
What's the thing where it's
I
like
think so.
shows you where?
Cavit.
Can
Oh,
that
I
go
thought-
both ways? Can it be like that way and that way? If you don't want to write it on the top, you want to write
Or would it be
That's a Miss Patton
it makes
question.
sense if you did the other way too.
carrot? Is it-
Yes, you could have also done this problem as 9 cubed times 1 over 9 and reduced it.
That seems like a lot of work.
I'll put-
That's why I said I was going to try to see what way y'all were going to do it, because I could have seen it going either way. Now, you should never leave this as just 9 squared, because that's something easy. Any number squared, unless it's like
16.
something bigger than like 15, like up to 15 squared, I made algebra 1 now. Anything past that, you can
16
leave.
squared is
Yay.
like 3 something.
About 20 squared.
All right, 12. 2/3. Whoa, that was not a 2.
Whoa.
2/3 raised to the negative 5 times 2/3 raised to the 4. What do I need to do with one like this?
Make sure they're
You put the
equal.
thingy into the thingies for the each thingy, and then you do the thing.
It
Well,
would be
they have the
2/3
same
to the
base,
negative
so we
1.
can add them together.
Yep, so 2/3 to the negative 5 plus 4, which gives me what?
Which
2/3
3
to the
over
negative 1.
2.
2/3 to the negative 1. Now, that negative 1 technically is going on both things, but you don't need to rewrite it that way. The negative 1, put it where it ain't, make it positive. I can take this fraction and just flip it over. And this is 3/2.
Make it, put it where it ain't.
Could you explain that?
Put it where it ain't. Make
Yeah.
It
It's a
positive.
lot of big. I mean, that's.
So,
that's a lot of big words.
here, what I'm basically not writing is that this would end up being 2 to the negative 1 over 3 to the negative 1.
Exactly.
Put them where it ain't, make a positive. I'm just flipping the 2 to make it a positive exponent. So this ends up being 3 over 2.
So that basically means just flip the fraction.
A reciprocal.
That's why I said just flip the fraction.
Well, I didn't know if that was like only for this problem or if it applied to all the problems.
Only
If a negative exponent is on the whole fraction, then you just, you flip the whole thing.
only problems.
14. 1/2 raised to the negative 5th squared.
Oh no!
What?
Hey, this you would.
It would be 1/2 to the negative 10.
That's
Yep.
what I was about
It's
to
power
say.
raised to a power is multiplying.
And then you just flip
So
it times
1/2
10.
to the
it's-
negative 10.
Oh,
The negative exponent tells me to flip it, so this is going to become 2 to the 10th.
What this?
I don't think
8,
I'm gonna do
2
that.
times 2 is 4. 8,
It's just 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times
32. 32 times 32 is 4, 6, 0.
He's doing the thingy. I don't think he's doing it right.
Oh, yeah, I didn't do it right. Hold up. 4,
Yeah.
6, 4.
Actually, even accuracy.
0,
Ryan, I was trying to help you out.
10, 2, 4. 10, 2, 4.
So 1024.
10, 2, 4. Ah! I told you I got it right.
All right, now we're into scientific notation.
Whoa, how'd you
No,
get that
thank
without?
Is that the thing where that's a 10 and you move the decimal?
It's
How'd
where
you-
all the numbers
Yes.
are weird.
How'd you do that?
But
without showing
you're
me?
not counting decimal places now. We're
What?
doing things like this. 1 second.
I'm about to hate this.
Can't
Yo,
spell.
since when did science get involved with
They
that?
take numbers and make them weird.
There's science and math.
No, bro.
That is the definition of
Numbers
math,
don't
Charlotte.
mean.
Science
Just
is
let the
numbers.
16. 1.2 times 10 to the negative 3
Oh, this is
times
easy.
6.7 times 10 to the
You just
negative
move-
7.
You just move the decimal over left if it's
That-
negative 3.
That's
But
not what
there's
we're
rules
doing.
No.
with zeros and stuff.
No, it isn't.
Yes.
Yes, there is.
Are
So-
we using an X as the time symbol?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you have to for scientific?
Yes, because scientific notation uses it that.
Yes.
Because we're doing science in math class.
All right, so
Yes.
what we do is I have things with the same base. Everything's being multiplied. So what I'm going to have is, or the way that I would recommend you rewrite this is 1.2 times 6.7 times, over here, 10 to the negative 3 times 10 to the negative 7.
Because they're like germs.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, and then you just combine it and it's 10 to the negative 10.
Yes. Now, scientific notation is the only time you can have negative exponents. Then I do the 1.2 times the 6.7, which you can just do in your calculator. I already.
In my head.
It's 8.04.
Really?
So 8.04 times 10 to the negative 10.
And we don't have to do that movie thingy?
No.
Yes. I don't think this is much anymore.
It's 8.4. 8.04.
Okay, and you'll let us leave it there. At any point, are we gonna have to like
Do the movie
tell?
thingy.
Yeah.
Bro, the movie thing is so
Yes,
easy.
in
All
the
you gotta
next
do is
problem.
count. Come on.
But I'll explain why in the next one.
Because you can't have it.
No. 18. 7.2 times 10 to the 9 times 9.4 times 10 to the 8.
Okay, hold on. I need 1 second.
Now, I often don't write this middle step here. I will just write the times 10 to whatever, and then I'll just multiply the numbers. So I kind of ignore this middle step. But
Hello, come in. Oh, I thought someone knocked. We'll just
Zach.
all right, 10 to the 9 times 10 to the 8 would be what?
a number.
10 to
Ooh,
the
10 to
17.
the 17.
10 to the 17. Somebody multiply 7.2 times
I got you.
9.4.
I bet I can beat you.
Oh, shoot.
67.68.
No, 18 point.
67.68. Now,
Oh. we can
does
calculate
anybody
it.
notice a problem?
Yes.
Yes.
What?
Nope. I see no problem at all. Shh.
I see a problem.
We don't see
There's 2 points in the. There's another.
He doesn't see a problem.
There's 2 points in the hundreds place. It can only be 1, right? Like it has to be like
It has to be
1.2.
between 1 and 10.
You
Yeah.
can, yes, this number
That's what I meant.
has to be 1 to 9.
So-
So I need to move this
To the
decimal
left.
one spot over here.
So
So I'm adding 1. So this is 6.768 times 10 to the 18.
Yeah.
I really hate this.
You should never have to move it more than one way or the other.
We are okay.
No, we're not, Zach.
In this class. I'm not talking about other classes. In this class, we shouldn't have to move it more than that.
Yes, it is, Jamie. Stop being optimistic.
22.
At least for this
1.1 times 10 to the negative 3 divided by 5.5 times 10 to the negative 8.
class. Make the math goal.
If it can't Nate, then it can't Nate. You know what I was trying to say.
No, I
Can
don't.
we just cancel?
No.
Maybe.
If it can't Nate go, then
What do you mean?
Like, could we just cancel the 10 to the negative 3rd on both?
Cancel math.
Right?
No.
I mean, I guess that's sort of what we're doing, but not really. So scientific notation always has to be in the numerator. So I need to move this up here.
Cogent.
How do I move from bottom to top?
Cogent. Conjugate.
Put it where it
Put it where it ain't. Move it. Nigga.
Make it positive.
put it where it ain't and change the sign. So or make it positive in this case, but sometimes you end up with something that's actually going to be subtracting off because of the fact scientific notation has to be on top. So I'm going to have 1.1 divided by 5.5, and I'll figure out that is in a minute, times 10 to the negative 3 plus 8. What's 1.1 divided by 5.5?
I can do it in my head.
1 over 1.
2.
1/5. Hold on.
It's 2.
Wait, 1 over
Divided
5.
by 1.1, it's 1/5.
It's 2.
No, this isn't. Oh,
It's
that's
a Monday, man.
So we need it as a decimal because it's scientific notation.
Point
It's 0.2.
0.2. Is that okay?
0.
Yes.
No.
No, because we have to have something in the ones place. So I need to move this decimal. This is moving opposite. So I'm subtracting 1.
2 times
So this is
10 to the 4.
2 times 10 to the 4th.
You didn't know it. What's 5.5 divided by 1.1?
All right. So up to this point, we've been using numbers.
Oh no.
Now we have variables.
Ah.
Wait, is scientific notation also the thing where zeros only count sometimes, or is that something totally different?
That's significant figures.
There we go. I don't like that. Are we gonna do that?
No.
Or is that just science?
That's-
Anyway, that was
That
just
was
science
horrible.
class. I hated that so much.
All right. 24. W to the negative 2 over W to the 6th.
Hey, at least we have the same base. If it ain't put, ain't positive.
Put it where it ain't, make it positive. So what do I need to do?
Put it ain't. Move.
Move it to the bottom and make it
Multiply.
So what do I get when I do that?
W12.
1 over W to the 8.
1 over W to the 8th.
Yeah, that's what I
So we don't have to show the step of 6 plus 2.
On these ones, I don't care.
Whoa.
Once you've done the ones with the numbers, I don't care.
Alright.
26. P cubed Q squared
Oh, that
to the
was-
negative 1.
Oh, put it where it ain't make mom. But at this point, we gotta.
You can treat this just like you did the fractions.
Got you.
So this whole piece is being raised to the negative 1. So what do I need to do?
P to the second, Q to the 1.
We put it on the bottom.
No, my goodness.
Yes, I'm going to move it to the bottom.
So it's 1 over.
P cubed Q squared. Otherwise, the intermediate step that we're not showing here is P to the negative 3, Q to the negative 2, which leads us to this.
Man, I'm gonna be sick.
Please don't.
I don't want to play Oak Tree, I'm being honest.
Zach,
I
you have no-
I do
they
not
can
want to play
suck.
30, x to the negative 1, y squared over x squared, y to the negative 1. So we always have to simplify problems like this down as much as possible. I can only have one of each variable in my final answer. So I need to
Put it where it ain't move.
put it where it ain't, make it positive. So what do I get when I do that?
Let me try this.
X
Never mind, Zach.
to the
Go ahead.
3 is on the bottom. My bad, I went backwards. Y to the 3 on top.
Yep.
Y though, I know that. Y, oh Y. Nah. Because your answer was just oh.
32. 4r to the 4th, s to the 5th, over 24 r to the 4th, s to the negative 5th.
Okay, go right.
Wait a minute.
No, I'm letting you go.
Hold on. I'm erasing. I'm talking about the problem. I haven't even done anything wrong yet. What does that mean? Okay. So.
Got it?
Almost. Yeah, let me think for a second.
No, I was with my Chinese friend for the whole weekend, so
Oh, that's fun.
my brain is like Chinese.
Shepherd.
Chinese effect.
What?
You were there, you know.
No.
All right, what do I do with the R's?
Right.
You
You
can
could do the
cancel.
thing where it's
They can just cancel because they're the same thing. What do I do with the 4 and the 24?
Reduce it.
What do I get when I do that?
1/6.
So I'm just going to throw a 6 on the bottom. What else do I have?
Move the S5 up.
S to the 10.
And you get S25.
S to the negative 5 is moving to the top, so I have S to the 5 plus 5, which is S to the 10. S to the 10 over 6. All right, last one. 34. Y to the 11 over 4z cubed times 8z to the 7 over y to the 7.
This sounds like the one guy. It sounds like Calpurnia's son, Zeba.
Now, you can leave this separate. I do, but if you need to like smush it together as one fraction to see it, you can also do that. Let's deal with the easy stuff first. 8 over 4, what do I get?
2.
2.
Come on, Daniel.
What did you just do?
She
So
cross
the
multiplied.
cross.
Butterfly thingy.
I did not cross multiply. I
Cross
canceled.
divided.
Oh.
I
Okay.
cross cancel.
Cross multiply is if there's an equal sign.
Oh, so she did the pretzel thing.
Now I've got y to the 11th on top and y to the 7th on the bottom.
Addition.
What?
18.
No.
This is where I say put it where it ain't, change the sign. I want to move the 7 from the bottom. It's positive. That means I need to subtract y to the 11 minus 7 is what?
Y to the 4.
Y to the 4th.
You said 4.
Now I've got z to the 7th over z cubed. What do I get when I do that?
Z
Put
to the
it on
4.
top, so the 4.
Z to the 4th. Z to the 7 minus 3 is z to the 4th.
You want us
And
to
that's
put
our
the
final
variables
answer.
in alphabetical order?
Yes, they should always be in alphabetical order. And numbers should always be first.
Sometimes I
So
forget.
if you're dividing
If
an
you give me
exponent,
a
you're
U
always
and a W, I'ma
subtracting
put the
because
U
when you
before the
multiply them, you
W.
add,
right?
right?
Right, but sometimes you're just changing the sign. But yes, if I'm, yeah.
But
If like there was a negative on the bottom, I have to add to put it on the
Right.
top. So you'd have to change the sign. That's why it's like Mr. Castle, I said put it where it ain't, make it positive. But when I had students, they would be like just moving it and making it positive every time, even though it was positive to begin with. I'm like, well, no, you have to change the sign. So I started saying put it where it ain't, change the
Okay.
sign.
So aren't we just, is another way of thinking about it just canceling the y to the 7?
Yes.
just
Okay.
put it where it ain't.
I mean, I know we're doing it for the thought process this time with like moving it.
Yes, honestly, that's the easier way just to think about canceling, but people don't often understand that, which is why I just do it this way.
Not as influential as us.
Our class is actually like really cool. Really good class.
I don't know about that.
All right, 3, 7, 11, 19, 23, 25, 31, and 35 are your problems. Don't forget, you have notes due tomorrow. They are longer.
And what, 4 chapters of English reading?
No, those aren't
Those
due
are
till
till
Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
Hey, she lied. She said we were watching a movie.
Yeah, what happened to that?
She also
watched,
told us
like,
we were
5
watching a
minutes.